Hi there, Stan The Annuity Man here. Welcome to the Stan The Annuity Man, theannuityman.com live event. We're talking about single premium immediate annuities. So glad you joined me. I appreciate that so much. Hello from Philadelphia, by the way. I see someone popping me from Philadelphia. Thank you so much for joining me in Philly and Chicago suburbs. I see that popping as well. Today, we're going to talk about single premium immediate annuities, SPIAs, which is the granddaddy of all annuity types that were actually put on the planet in the Roman times as a pension gift for the dutiful Roman soldiers and their families. It's a lifetime income stream. And still to this day, I think it's one of the most pro-consumer annuity types out there because it's a transfer of risk. You're transferring the risk to the annuity company to pay you for as long as you are breathing. So we can structure it a myriad of ways. And what we're going to do today is go through how you can use the online calculators at theannuityman.com to run your own quotes 24/7, 365. Now, understand that quotes are like a gallon of milk. They expire every 7 to 10 days. And, you just have to keep quoting them until you find the number and the guarantee that you like. The way that we lock them in is during the application process. That's not a sales pitch, but that's how it happens. You go through the application process. We get the application to the carrier, and then we lock in the guarantee, and then we transfer the money. So that's how it works. So what I'd like to do is just go to the site, the Annuity Man. So let's go to the site, and you can see that. Three main things I want to point out. At the top, book a call. Use the calculators and get the books. Book a call. You're going to get me 99% of the time. Okay. Unless I have COVID, right? Let's hope not. I've already had it. But you can book a call. It's a 30-minute block with me if you want us to do a specific online. You go in there and you're going to see the date. Make sure when you scroll down, we're scrolling down here. If you see the time zone, you're going to put in your time zone, and then you can block in that time. I'm going to call right on the dot because I'm obsessive compulsive like that. So that's going to happen. So that's the first thing, book a call. On the right-hand side, get the books. There's no catch here. I'm going to send you the books. I've written a single premium immediate annuity owner's manual. I'll send it to you for free under no obligation. It's hard copy, so we're going to need your physical address. And that book is going to show up in a gold foil Willy Wonka mailer. You're going to love it. But what we're here for today, one more thing. Let me cut a couple other things. Very proud of the podcast that we're doing right now called Fun with Annuities. If you click the podcast thing, you can scroll down and you can see I have a bunch of big hitters on here that I interview. It's not all about annuities. It's about retirement. It's about lifetime income. It's about long-term care or life insurance. We have all the best experts on the planet. That's weekly. And then the last thing I want to show you before we get to the quotes is if you go to the drop down where it says about, forget about me, go to customer journey. And customer journey, if you're wondering how the application process works, this is a very short 4-minute video that explains the process. So we're very transparent about what we do. So just oversight on the best annuity site on the planet. But let's go to the middle one. Use the calculators. We have the best proprietary annuity calculators on the planet. And as you see there's QLAC, SPIAs, DIAs, indexed annuities, income riders, MIGA. There's a live MIGA feed. And you can shop 24/7. And what we pretty much represent every single annuity company out there. And we're licensed in all 50 states. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go through some single premium immediate annuity quotes. And as we're doing it, you can put in your quotes live and run yours as we're running it. So let's go to that. See that really good picture of me holding a calculator? Let's put in your first name. I'm going to go by my alias, John Doe, and put in your email address. Now, I know a lot of you are hesitant out there to put in your email addresses. I understand that. We do not sell lists. We do not share lists. We do not inundate you with emails. But the reason you're going to put in the email is so that we can, when you hit this get a quote button after we put in the information, not only are you going to see the live quote numbers right there, we're also going to email you a link so you can look at it later. That's the reason the email's there. So let's go to state of residence. You're going to drop that down. You're going to put in your state of residence, put in your date of birth. We're going to run a quote on a male 65 right now, non-qualified. You can choose non-IRA means non-qualified. So IRA, non-IRA. We're going to choose non-IRA. We're going to choose 100,000. That's an easy contractual multiple, meaning that, hey, Stan, what's the what's the guarantee on 200,000 or 300,000? It's an easy multiple of that, or you can just keep running quotes. There's no limit on the quotes. How about that? And then income starts. We're going to drop that down, and you can choose up to 13 months deferral. Okay. Once you go past 13 months, that's a deferred income annuity quote. We'll have a live event on that one down the road. But right now, let's do the 1 month. So 1 month after let's choose that. 30 days, it's going to hit your bank account after the policy is issued. So we hit get a quote. Here's your personalized quote. So let's talk about the two types of quotes we're going to show you. The first is life only. And the way that I explain life only is when your Learjet hits the mountain, money goes poof. Now, there's a lot of people out here that are going to say, well, I'd never buy an annuity, Stan the Annuity Man, America's Annuity Agent, because when I die, I don't want the evil annuity company to keep the money. I want the annuity company to whatever's left in the account. I want it to go to my beneficiary, even though they're on the hook to pay. So scroll down. The other quote that we provide is called Life with Cash Refund. So life with cash refund means they're on the hook to pay as long as you are breathing, right? But when your Learjet hits the mountain, by the way, that's my southern version of when you die, then whatever's left in the account goes to your beneficiaries in full, lump sum. That's the cash refund part, all right? Period. The annuity company doesn't keep a penny even though they're on the hook to pay. Now, why do we show both of these? Let's go back up to life only. Life only is going to be the highest payment. Why is that, Stan the Annuity Man, America's Annuity Agent? Good question. Thank you. It's because that you're shouldering some of the risk. They're on the hook to pay, but you're shouldering some of the risk. And if you step out in front of a bus day 2, money goes poof. Not a lot of people want to do that, but you might want to do that. That's the reason we show it's going to be the highest contractual guarantee. So look at that number, that 50140 number. Don't focus on the carriers yet, because again, these things change like a gallon of milk. Let's scroll down, and the cash refund is going to be a lot less, not a lot less, but in a lot of cases, significantly less. Why? Because the annuity company's on the hook to come up with that lump sum. All right. Now, make sure you're putting in your questions. I'm going to answer your questions. We're going to go through some more quotes, but I'm going to go through every single question in detail. But let's talk about these quotes again, just as a broader brush. Now, we're providing the 2 quotes on this, and you're going to get the email. It's going to give you the quotes as well. We're providing life only and life with cash refund. But I want you to understand there's over 40 different ways, probably more than that if you get really detailed in counting, on how you can structure an immediate annuity quote. All right. You could do life with installment refund, life with a period certain. You could do a period certain. But these 2 are the most popular, and it's a good starting point for you to understand how this product, the single premium immediate annuity, is priced. The biggest pricing mechanism of a SPIA is your life expectancy, or if it's joint, life expectancies at the time you take the payment. All right. Interest rates play a secondary role. Let me repeat it. Interest rates play a secondary role, and they would have to significantly move from where they are at the time of this taping to move the needle. So if you're trying to time a SPIA purchase, please don't do that. So let's do a joint life quote. So let's put in the joint life, and if you please remember your spouse's date of birth. I mean, this is a big deal. Don't ask me mine. I've been married 34 years. I probably don't know it. But put in your spouse's date of birth, male and female, and here we go. We're going to do a non-IRA. And I think what we're going to do here is, I think, a 65-year-old and a 63-year-old. I think that's what that equates into. Get a quote. So here we go. So we're running it joint life. Hey, Stan, what happens when my spouse dies or I die? Well, if somebody is breathing, I love doing that. If someone's breathing, the payments continue uninterrupted and unchanged. Got a call the other day. Guy calls me and says, hey, want to do a joint life only. The kids are going to get enough money. We just want to maximize the payments. Hey, Stan, what happens when I die? The income stream continues uninterrupted and unchanged for your spouse's life as long as they're breathing. Under joint life only, when the second person dies, okay, then the money goes poof under joint life only. So you see that payment. Scroll down. Remember, joint life with cash refund, as long as someone's breathing, they're going to pay. And when the second person dies, all right, lump sum goes to the listed beneficiaries of the policy. Now, it doesn't have to be a spouse. Now, this is when you schedule a call with me if you want to say, hey, I want to do one with my grandson. I got a call the other day. 85-year-old man wanted to do a joint lifetime income payout with one of his grandsons. We can do that. Okay, we can do that. That's something we need to talk about. But joint life, depending on who's the younger of the two, that's going to be the primary pricing mechanism from a life expectancy standpoint. Give an example. If you have a spouse that's, say, 5 years, 6 years younger than you, so you're 70, in this case, 2 years younger, but let's just say they're significantly younger, then the annuity company is going to focus primarily from a pricing standpoint on that younger life expectancy. Remember, immediate annuities are transfer of risk lifetime income products that's primarily priced on your life expectancy at the time you start the payments. The older you are, the higher the payment guarantee. Sound familiar? It should. Social Security is the best lifetime income stream with inflation increase that you have. And if you say, I don't own an annuity, you do. It's called Social Security if you have a Social Security number. So we can do COLA quotes, and let's talk about that before we go to some other quotes. You can do a COLA quote. You can attach a COLA, cost of living adjustment increase, to a single premium immediate annuity. But just understand, annuity companies don't give anything away. They have the big buildings for a reason. So if you said, okay, Stan the Annuity Man, America's Annuity Agent, I want to attach a 3% or a 2% or a 4% increase, and that sounds fantastic. Understand that the annuity company is going to lower that initial payment significantly. Let's just say 30% or 35%. And it takes you a while to make up or get to the exact same payment level of the same annuity without a COLA. So we can quote that for you. And that's the reason that you need to contact me and schedule a call if you want to see those additional quotes. All right. So we've run, a male non-IRA. We've run a joint life non-IRA quote. So you kind of see how that's priced. Let's run one using IRA assets. And by the way, you can use IRA assets, Roth IRA assets, non-IRA assets. It doesn't matter. The guarantees are the same. The difference is how the income is taxed. Before we go to the IRA, and I'm just going to punch all this stuff in while we're doing that, with non-qualified accounts. And by the way, let's go backwards. Let's do one more. Let's go backwards and do the non-qualified, because I want to point something out to you. And once again, type in your questions. I'm going to get to all of your questions, after we go through this and after we go through some basics on how to run the quote. I want to run the non-qualified again because I want to show you something that. All right. So we ran the non-qualified. All right, and you see the income amount. In this case, it's 50140. Once again, these things change like a gallon of milk every 7 to 10 days. But look at the taxable portion of that. All right, what's that, Stan the Annuity Man, America's Annuity Agent? What that is called the exclusion ratio. And the exclusion ratio means that you're going to get 50140 hitting your bank account every single month. Remember, everybody, this is just a hypothetical based on a specific age. You have to put in your own age, your own date of birth, dates of birth if it's joint to see your specific guarantee. But that taxable amount is what you're going to pay taxes on. So you're going to get 50140 a month, but you're going to pay taxes on 8474. So in a non-IRA setting, non-qualified, because single premium immediate annuity payments are a combination of return of principal plus interest. In a non-IRA setting, you're not going to pay taxes on the principal. You're going to pay taxes on the interest. All right. So that's called the exclusion ratio. So there's some tax preferential treatment on that. Now, kind of getting into the weeds a little bit here. I had a call the other day and a guy said, hey, what happens when this account draws down to zero? Okay, so you put in the 100,000, you're paying the 8474 a month in taxes because of the exclusion ratio, but then you outlive your life expectancy and the account's now at zero. What happens at that point is then that whole amount is taxable. At that point, even though the account's at zero and the annuity company's on the hook to pay, and I have a zillion with a Z, clients that have this. The account's been drawn down to zero. They've beaten the actuaries. They've beaten the life expectancy tables, and they're still getting this 50140, whatever the guarantee is for you. and they're on the hook to pay. This is why I always say there's no ROI until you die. There's no return on investment until you die. I don't know what that number is until you die. Once you die, I'll fly into your funeral if you request, and I'll sing the song and I'll work in the ROI number. Because up until that point of your death, as long as you are breathing, it's a pure transfer of risk to the annuity company. I have never received a question from anyone that says, "Hey, Stan the Annuity Man, what's my return on investment on Social Security?" No one ever asked that. No one ever asked that because they just want to see the money hitting their bank account. It's the same decision-making process with a single premium immediate annuity. You are buying a lifetime income pension. You are creating your own personal pension. You can't time it, period. The older you are, the higher the payment. And interest rates play a secondary pricing role. So let's go backwards. Now that I've explained the exclusion ratio, let's run a quote. Let's make this guy 75 years old. He's still John Doe. He's 75. Putting in the email address just because you're going to get the quote link sent to you via email, even though you're going to see it live. But we're going to use IRA assets. Yes, you can use an IRA. Let me before we get a quote. For people that say never put an annuity inside of an IRA, that's stupid. It's just not smart. And I hate to be that blunt, but the reason that you put an annuity of any type inside of an IRA is because you're looking for the guarantee. Okay, yes, an IRA, a traditional IRA has tax preferential treatment, tax deferral. You're not getting double tax deferral, but the reason you would buy an immediate annuity inside of an IRA is for the lifetime income stream. If you bought it with Roth IRA assets, then that income stream is going to be tax-free because you've already paid the taxes to create the Roth. Nod your head, right? So with this, people, it drives me crazy when I hear, especially journalists, financial journalists, or better than that, people that call themselves wealth managers and say never put an annuity inside of an IRA. That's just flat out garbage. At the end of the day, when you are at chapter 2 of your life, or you're trying to create a lifetime income stream, a pension for both you and your wife, and we live in a pensionless world. Remember, and unless you work for the government or some very good trade union that set up a pension, most people, including me, do not have a pension. We have to create our own pensions. And annuities as a category for lifetime income, this is the only product on the planet that can create a lifetime income stream that you can never outlaw as long as you are breathing. So let's get a quote. Let's look at the IRA quote. All right, so here's the 75-year-old IRA. Here's your personalized annuity quote. And remember, you're also going to get an email that's going to show you that's going to have a link so you can look at the quote later. But once again, on the income, look at it. In this case, it's $700.16 a month. But look at the taxable amount. Because it's coming out of an IRA, it's all taxable at ordinary income levels. All right? So with non-IRA SPIAs, there's a portion that's not taxable. With IRA, traditional IRA SPIAs, it's all going to be taxable coming out. Let's cover a couple of things here. Let's just say, yeah, Stan, I want to do an IRA, but my IRA is at Vanguard, or my IRA is at Fidelity, or my IRA is at Merrill Lynch. How do we do that? How does that happen? Well, I'd encourage you to go back and look at the customer journey video because that helps. But let me give you just kind of the synopsis of the transfer. First of all, when you go through the application process with my team, we fill out all the paperwork for you and we facilitate the transfer. Let's just take an example. It's Vanguard. It's a non-taxable event. It does not trigger any taxes. The money goes from Vanguard to the annuity company that you choose, so that there'll be an IRA established for you at that annuity company, and the income stream will flow, and you'll pay taxes on that IRA income at ordinary income levels. So it's not going to create any taxes. It's not going to trigger any taxes to move money from your current IRA, wherever it's located, Vanguard, Fidelity, Bank, TD, brokerage firm, to an immediate annuity. There'll just be an IRA established for you there. But again, it's not going to trigger any taxes. And my team takes care of that for you, from the start, with the application process. So there's your single life only quote. Let's go down and look at the life with cash refund quote. Okay. So the life with cash refund in comparison is a lot lower because the annuity company is on the hook to pay lump sum when you die, whatever's left in the account, to the listed beneficiaries of the policy. Whereas with life only, Learjet hits the mountain and money goes poof. So this is kind of the IRA standpoint. People always ask me questions. I got a call the other day and the guy said, I really want to buy an immediate annuity. Stan the Annuity Man, America's annuity agent. But what company is the best one? Which one should I go with? And my answer to that is the one that provides the highest contractual guarantee. Yes, we are going to look at the claims paying ability of the carrier. Yes, I am going to look at the financials. Yes, we are going to look at the ratings. But as you'll see, you're going to see some big names in the single premium immediate annuity world that you're very familiar with and that are strong. But I have a responsibility from a standpoint of recommendation to put you in front of carriers that I feel can back up the claims of the amount that you're looking to place. Okay, that's a big deal. But most of these carriers, as you can see, are huge. So I don't have any skin in the game or a favorite or anything like that, because what these companies are doing is they are trying to attract premium. So got a call the other day and a guy said, hey, you quoted me this, a couple months ago, and it was with this really good company I like. And then I went back on your calculator and I ran it, and they're not even in the top 10 anymore. Why is that, Stan the Annuity Man? It's because they aren't trying to attract premium for your age tranche, your age range, okay, or if it's joint age ranges. And that might change next week. These carriers don't call me up, even though they should, as Stan the Annuity Man, say, hey, here's the tranche we're trying to fill. When we hit this number, this is when we're going to lower the guarantee. But in essence, that's what's happening. I want you to think of it like, when you used to buy CDs, now you buy MYGAs through me, which are fixed rate annuities. But when the banks, you had one bank on one side of the road and the other bank on the other side of the road selling the same CD, but one had a higher guarantee. Why? They're trying to attract premium. They're trying to attract your money. It's the same thing with single premium immediate annuities. So let's skip we already run a joint when we got a book. So let's go to the questions. Type them in, and I'm going to take them one at a time and then answer them as best I can. So let's see it. Here's the first one from someone named Donna Marie. Are annuities that adjust for inflation worth the lower initial payment, since I plan on living to 110? That's a good question. And there's no good answer to this, just bad sales pitches. Should Donna Marie put a cost of living adjustment rider on an immediate annuity because her parents lived 110 and there's longevity in their family? She's healthy. There's a good, maybe that's a good decision for you. That's the reason that we need to talk. But at a minimum, what I would tell you to do is, let's just say you had $400,000 you want to put it in immediate annuities. You might do a combination. You might do one with and then one without. And remember, with COLAs, cost of living adjustments, you can choose the percentage. In other words, you could say, I want it to increase by 2% or 3% or 1% or 5%. Just remember, the bigger the percentage that you choose, the more they're going to ratchet down those payments. In the past, there used to be COLAs, but there's no longer COLAs at the time of this taping. But CPIU increases. My apologies. There's no more CPIU increases attached to SPIAs at the time of this taping. Hopefully that'll change. But right now, you just have to choose the percentage COLA. So let's go to the next question. This is from Brian. I think everyone can see it, but I'll read it because I have to read it to myself. If the amount I need for guaranteed income at retirement requires a payment of more than 50% of my portfolio, will I be allowed to purchase that SPIA? And very good question, Brian. I have pounded the table numerous times that the annuity companies typically don't like to see you put more than 50% of your investable assets, non-house, non-car, into annuities of any type. Now, are there exceptions? Absolutely there are, and we will go to bat for you if you tell us exactly what you're trying to achieve, and we think that's suitable and appropriate. We had a situation this week where we had a gentleman that he actually went into the 70% range of his portfolio, but he explained to us why. We went to the carriers. We told the carriers, here's why he needs that, and they approved it, and it went through. So they're not just going to automatically look at the 50% and say no if you go higher than that, but you really have to discuss with me why, and if I believe it's valid and in your in your best interest for you and your family, then I'll go to bat for you and we can get it through. Here's the next one. Does tax exclusions from Ed? Thanks, Ed. Does the tax exclusion ratio change over time, or is it constant? It's constant. It does not change over time. So the exclusion ratio, just to remind everybody, remember, immediate annuity income is a combination of return of principal plus interest in a non-IRA account where you're buying, writing a check for it out of your bank account for an immediate annuity. The interest portion of that is taxable. The return of principal is not. Let's go to the next one. All right, Carol Smith. So Roth IRAs are totally tax-free if the 5-year and 59-year-old rule has been met. That is absolutely correct, Carol. I didn't want to go into those weeds from a tax standpoint, but with all tax questions like this, Carol was right about that, on the 5-year wait. We work in conjunction with tax lawyers and CPAs. We do not provide tax advice, even though I've been doing this for 30 plus years and probably no more than a lot of CPAs. We're just not licensed to give tax advice, and no agents or advisors should, in my opinion. So we'll work hand in hand with them, and we'll get on the phone with them and say, hey, here's what Carol's wanting to do. Are you signing off on it? Yes or no? But good point on the Roth. Next question. This is from Tim. Is there a way to calculate what the payout rate you would need with a DIA, say 5 years from now? Yes, there is. Well, let me answer that yes or no. Yes and no. I think what you're asking is, can I find out what my immediate annuity payment would be if I was 5 years older? We can run, and you can put in the quote that you're 5 years older and see what it's going to be. But 5 years from now, we have no idea what the payout rates, life expectancy tables, et cetera, are going to be. So I think another way to ask that question too would be just to pile on a little bit, because I get this question a lot. Hey, Stan, is it better to buy an immediate annuity now or buy a deferred income annuity with income starting in 5 years? You're really the only one that can answer that question, because annuity companies, they make it a tough decision. There's not some arbitrage bingo moment where the bell rings and you go, oh, well, that's a price anomaly, I'm going to do it that way. No, if you're buying the immediate annuity now as opposed to buying the deferred income annuity now with income starting in 5 years, then you have to factor in those 60 payments, 5 years, 5 times 12, that you're getting from the immediate annuity. And does it make sense for you to defer for 5 years? As I always do, I ask people 2 questions. What do you want the money to contractually do? And when do you want those contractual guarantees to start? From those 2 questions and answers, then we can put you with the right product. So if your answer was, I need income, but I need it in 5 years, there's 2 decisions. You can either buy a deferred income annuity or an income rider, because those are the 2 income later strategies. Or the third decision is, just keep your powder dry, keep your money in the market, and buy an immediate annuity at that time 5 years from now. There's no good answers. There's no perfect answer. It really is a customized fit. All right, next question. Ricky, thank you. I do not understand the advantage if an annuity is within an IRA. Seems annuity is already tax deferred. Good question, Ricky. And I went over this a little bit. I'm going to do it again. The reason that you would buy an immediate annuity for lifetime income with IRA assets is for the contractually guaranteed pension income stream. Ricky, I totally agree with you that, that the IRA is a tax deferred structure. But when you're buying an immediate annuity inside of it, you're using IRA money for the lifetime income stream. Okay, you're not getting double tax deferral. You're buying it because you need to fill in a gap for the income floor. What's an income floor? It's your Social Security payments. It's your pension payments, if you're so fortunate. It's your dividend payments. And then that gap that you fill you could use IRA assets. Now, the reason in most immediate annuities that are purchased are used with IRA assets. Why? Because most people, the majority of their money has either gone from a 401k to an IRA, or they build up an IRA asset. And that's where the majority of the money is. Just remember, if you are using your IRA, you can attach a spouse for lifetime income. So you can use the immediate annuity as a longevity legacy play for you and your spouse or significant other. Next question. It's from Brian. I just heard another famous advisor. Man, they can't be that much. I mean, is there anybody more famous? No, I digress. Say life insurance companies will cease selling annuities. Do you agree? And if so, what time frame do you predict? I don't ever see them not selling annuities. And I'll tell you the reason why. It's a demographic tidal wave. It's a very easy answer. With over 10,000 baby boomers hitting the age of 65 every single day, and in a pensionless world, and in a world where Social Security, some people will argue it's being means tested right now, but it's going to be heavily means tested in the future. People need lifetime income. People need to create their own income floor. People need to create their own pension. So I never see a day where life insurance companies are going to not sell single premium immediate annuities or the other 6 or 7 annuity types as well. What I do see possibly in the future is that agents like moi, America's annuity agent, maybe 10 years from now might be cut out of the equation if the annuity industry would do a good job educating people about how these work. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but if I'm an insurance company, I'm trying to figure out how to cut out the agent, even though commissions are built in and all that stuff. But I don't ever see that happening. People need lifetime income. You know, Social Security was never put on the planet to be your sole source of lifetime income. You need a lifetime income stream that you can never outlive as long as you are breathing. Next question. Is the annuity, this is from Ricky, is the annuity in an IRA the same as a QLAC? No. You can buy a single premium immediate annuity inside of an IRA. And then there's also another product that was developed in 2014 and introduced in 2014 by our friends at the IRS and the Treasury Department called a QLAC. QLAC stands for Qualified Longevity Annuity Contract. When you go to my site and sign up for the books, one of the owner's manuals I'm going to send you is on qualified longevity annuity contracts. Now, the interesting part about QLACs, and you can run on, if you saw when we showed you the calculator page, we have a QLAC calculator page as well. You can run QLAC quotes. But when people say, hey, never buy an annuity inside of an IRA, QLACs were actually designed for use in an IRA or qualified account. So for people that say never buy an annuity inside of an IRA, I guess they haven't thought about QLACs or heard about QLACs before. But QLACs, just to give you, and it's different from an immediate annuity. At the time of this taping, there's a limitation on how much money you can put into a QLAC. I know that Congress at this point, they're debating on whether to raise that. But at the time of this taping, look at the date if you're watching it down the road. It's the lesser of 25% or $135,000 inside of your total IRA assets. So in other words, if you have $1 million in your IRA, you can only put $135,000 in a QLAC. You can add your spouse or significant other as a joint lifetime income recipient. And also the good thing about QLACs is you do not use that. Like, let's just say you put the $135,000 in and you go take your required minimum distributions. That 135 is not part of the calculations for your RMDs. That doesn't mean you buy it for that. In my opinion, that's one of the add-on features. You buy a QLAC because you are looking for lifetime income in the future. You have to turn it on at age 85. But here's the similarities between a single premium immediate annuity and a QLAC. They both are what's called annuitized products. What's annuitization? Let me give you a Southern version of that. Annuitization is like going outside to the water spigot. Remember that for all you Southerners out there, water faucet, and just ripping the knob off the water faucet. What happens? Water flows. With an immediate annuity, a single premium immediate annuity, that's an annuitized product. You're ripping the knob off the income faucet. Income's going to flow. And depending on how you set it up, if it's a lifetime income stream, it's going to flow for as long as you are breathing, right? I mean, so that's the answer to that question. But to me, single premium immediate annuities are the most simplistic, in my opinion, pro-consumer product. There's no moving parts. There's no annual fees. There's no market attachments. It's a straight transfer of risk. Commissions that are very low are paid to the agent one time, and they're built into the policy. So in other words, you put in $100,000, you're going to see $100,000 go to work, even though the agent, me, got paid a one-time fee from the annuity company. It's just part of their overall, like they pay the water bill and the light bill, the commissions are built in just like that. It's just part of the overall operating expenses. Let's go back and run one more quote, the joint life IRA quote. And then once again, put in your questions. I'll go back and we'll answer questions. These have been some great questions, definitely. So we're going to go back to the calculators, go back to SPIA, and then we're going to run a joint life quote using IRA assets. Remember, you can attach your spouse to the joint lifetime income stream. So you can take your IRA asset and say, okay, I'm John Doe and I'm going to put in Martha Doe. That's a good name, Martha Doe. So even though it's your IRA for joint lifetime income. So what happens when you die? The income continues for Martha uninterrupted and unchanged. So we put that in 75 and 73 joint life. And again, you choose your state. Remember, immediate annuities, fixed annuities are regulated at the state level. So you have to put in your state of residence in order to get the quote. And so the quotes in California will be different from the quotes in New York, which will be different from the quotes in Texas, et cetera, et cetera. So here's the joint lifetime income quote. And let's see, 543.40 is the guaranteed joint life only. Because it's an IRA, once again, the taxable amount is 543.40 at ordinary income levels. Let's scroll down and look at the joint life only. Joint life only, a joint life with cash refund, excuse me, is a little bit less. But what does that mean again? That means that when the one spouse dies, the income continues uninterrupted and unchanged for the second spouse's life. But when they die, whatever's left in the account goes to the listed beneficiaries of the policy. I know a lot of people out there have just really worked hard for their money, scrimped and saved and done without. And the one thing they don't want to happen is not one penny go to the annuity company. That's joint life with cash refund. Or if you want to schedule a call with me, we can run joint life with installment refund or joint life with specific period certains. However you want to put in that backstop of legacy where, you want to make sure the money's going to somebody. I mean, that's the way to do it. Just remember, joint life only, these two quotes, joint life only, joint life with cash refund, are really good gauges for you to look at how the income stream is priced based on your ages or age. Life only, once again, is the highest payment because you're shouldering some of that risk. Life with cash refund is still a pure transfer of risk for lifetime income payment as long as you're breathing, but 100% of the money that goes unused when you pass or when both of you pass if it's joint goes to the listed beneficiaries of the policy. And you can have primary beneficiaries and secondary beneficiaries. You can change those up, and we certainly can help you with that period. Remember, too, if you haven't gotten my SPIA owner's manual, it's a hard copy book about 55 pages long. You go to get a book, get the books, and you sign up, put in your physical mailing address. We're not going to overwhelm you. We're just going to send you the book so you can read about it. The other thing that I would encourage you to do, because this is on YouTube and a lot of you are familiar with me from the YouTube channel, I would encourage you to go to the playlist section of YouTube. And underneath that, you're going to see a section where it's just on immediate annuities. So where I've done 10 or 15 immediate annuity only type videos that you can take a look at. And remember, with my podcast, I do that as well. I cover pretty much everything. So I do encourage you to go to my site. We're getting more questions. Bring them on. Tim, here's your question. Can you speak about the state guarantee fund pertaining to annuities? Now, what Tim is talking about, single premium immediate annuities are fixed annuities, okay? And fixed annuities are regulated at the state level. So each state has what's called a guarantee fund, okay? And that guarantee fund backs up the policies to a certain dollar amount in case something goes wrong with the carrier. Now, let's cover a couple of things. State guarantee funds are not, that coverage is not as good as FDIC. FDIC, F stands for federal. That's the gold standard because the government can tax and get our money. State guarantee funds have really never been tested. That is a nod of the hat to the insurance industry and the annuity industry for really self-regulating and regulating these products so that there's not a lot of issues in other words, banks aren't smarter than annuity companies. Annuity companies are just more regulated. But state guarantee fund, let me give you the website to go to take a look at your specific state. It's NOLSGIFT, NOLHGA.com, NOLHGA.com. And then you're going to see a drop down where you can pick your state and then go to the frequently asked questions, FAQs, and each state is going to tell you what their rules are. Some of them back annuities up to 300,000, some back it up to 100,000, some back it up to everybody's different. States are different. It's like herding cats. So good question. Again, NOLHGA.com. Let's go to the next question. How do you, Heartman85, I love that. How do you meet RMDs when the only asset becomes the annuity? Good question. And let's talk about single premium immediate annuities inside of an IRA and you're past age 72. The income stream coming from that immediate annuity. And let's just take Heartman, I love that name, Heartman's example of, okay, I have $400,000 in my IRA. That's not all the money I have, but that's what's amount. And we're going to buy an immediate annuity with that $400,000. Whatever that income stream is coming from that IRA, $400,000 immediate annuity inside the IRA fully satisfies your RMDs, period. Now let's look at another version of that. Let's just say Heartman has a $500,000 IRA and he buys a $250,000 single premium immediate annuity. All right. And the other $250,000 is a non-annuity asset, stocks, bonds, ETFs, whatever. The $250,000 in the immediate annuity, the income derived from that is going to fully satisfy the required minimum distributions for that $250,000 in the single premium immediate annuity. But you're going to have to take RMDs from the non-annuity assets, that other $250,000. I hope that makes sense. So whatever that immediate annuity amount is in the IRA, that's going to fully satisfy the required minimum distributions for that dollar amount in the immediate annuity. But anything other non-annuity asset inside that IRA, you're going to have to take RMDs on. One more point, and I'm glad I remembered it. My brain's clicking today. That's good. Let's just say the immediate annuity is creating it creates the income stream. It fully satisfies the dollar amount in the IRA for the immediate annuity. You cannot use any of that income stream coming from the immediate annuity as overage to apply against the RMDs for the non-annuity assets. It's only applicable to the single premium immediate annuity asset. So that's the answer. Good. Another question. Johnny C. Sounds like a blues player. I like that. Is there a guideline for what percentage of anticipated annual expenses are best covered by stable sources? That's a good question. But it's a customizable question. You're the only one that can determine what income stream level you need. And one of the biggest gorillas in the room right now is inflation. Wait a minute, Stan. How do we address inflation with immediate annuities? Yes, we can do COLAs, cost of living adjustment increases, but they're going to ratchet down the payment. What I'm going to ask you to do is put together all your sources of income, whether it's Social Security, pension if you're so fortunate, dividend income, rental income, whatever side hustle you got, add all that up and then tell me, book a call with me and then tell me, okay, what's the gap? What's that gap that I need to fill with, say, an immediate annuity? So it's all customizable. There was a second part of the question I need to see just to make sure that I'm covering everything. So for example, Johnny says in 2 years, we're going to have pensions covering 75%. And then we going to take Social Security at 70. So there's a 10-year gap. Wondering if it's advisable to buy another annuity with IRA monies to have 100% of the expenses covered by stable. Yes, if you want it to be turnkey. That doesn't mean everyone needs an immediate annuity or an annuity of any type. But if you wanted to say, I want to cover those expenses, I want to know that to the penny, it's my income floor is coming in regardless of who's in office, political parties, markets, whatever, then a single premium immediate annuity lifetime income guarantee is going to work in your favor. Also, too, if you had a 10-year gap, you can also fill that 10-year gap with a single premium immediate annuity as well. So, good questions. We're coming up on the edge of the time here. So I want to thank you for joining me. I encourage you to get my books. I encourage you to use these calculators 24/7, 365. That's the reason we have it like that, so you can shop at your own leisure. Do not hesitate to schedule a call with me. so that we can have a customized, I can put some customized quotes together for you. And I appreciate you joining me. Hey, I love these live events. We're going to do them more. We're going to send you an email when we do them. They'll be on different topics. If you have ideas for topics, let us know. And I'll see you next time on The Annuity Man YouTube and all the social media platforms live event.